What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a little bit of a Criterion Collection Roundup. It's kind of the time of year for the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale, which extends into Amazon as well. They usually offer the same deals for the most part on all their Criterion collections. So I'm going to run through with you guys what I've picked up basically this month during the sale, and we'll check that stuff out. And I've got a few things here that are not Criterion. These are just pickups for the week, and I'll show those off to you guys here at the end of the video. So first and foremost, this is something I definitely made a big video on, and I made a big deal of, but this is the Citizen Kane Criterion Collection. All in all, the content on this disc are wonderful. It does have that slightly damaged Blu-ray disc, which is not damaged. It's just the transfer is not very good on there. But yeah, like the movie looks great and sounds great in 4K. The documentary, the BBC documentary that comes with this is excellent. It's a very nice documentary, and yeah, I highly recommend the Citizen Kane 4K. These are going to be presented in no particular order, so I also picked up this, which I talked about a little bit. This is High Sierra, Humphrey Bogart movie. Very excellent. I'm not going to go through all these like I did before, because we've already talked about some of these just a little bit. This is another movie I picked up, Leave Her to Heaven. This is John Stahl movie, an excellent noir. Very good. This is more going to be, we're just going to run through these. I'm not going to talk a lot about them. We'll kind of go through the kind of a quick video instead of making a real long video out of this. You've seen me present this before. This is The Incredible Shrinking Man. With the sticker still on there. Very nice. Haven't sat down and watched this version yet. Some of these were Amazon pickups. Obviously, I didn't buy every single one of these at Barnes & Noble, so I picked up some on Amazon and some at Barnes & Noble, but this was an Amazon find here. This is one. This is Ride the Pink Horse. Interestingly enough, I believe that I found out about this movie through watching a documentary on this movie, The Leave Her to Heaven. I was watching a documentary about John Stahl on there. But John Stahl didn't direct this movie. This is Robert Montgomery, but they were tying it into some of that kind of era of filmmaking. So this seemed pretty interesting. I think this is another noir, but Ride the Pink Horse. It looks like it's going to be a very interesting view. I haven't watched this yet. But the next movie I picked up here was The Honeymoon Killers. I did watch this movie from the 60s. This is definitely almost like a John Waters story come true. It's pretty wild. And, it feels like the main woman in here, she's almost like a divine-esque type person. She's not actually a transvestite like Divine, but she's definitely a larger lady, and it just feels like a real-life John Waters story. It's almost like he read that story or something when he was younger, and it's like, it kind of inspired some John Waters movies there. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But the next set I picked up, ended up picking up the Marvin Van Peebles set. Very nice set here. I'll just pop it open here and we'll go through. There's the booklet, the Marvin Van Peebles booklet there. And it comes with Don't Play Us Cheap. I think that's adapted from I think it's like a play that's been adapted to a movie. These are out of order a little bit. This is Sweetback's Badass Song, a movie that I have seen. Very disturbing and interesting story. The story of a 3-day pass. Probably one of the more famous of his movies, Watermelon Man. It's a very excellent set that I wanted to pick up. But I pre-ordered the Marvin Van Peebles set a while back, and I ended up canceling it. I think when it first came out, it was a little more. I think it was like $80, $80 or $90. But I think I ended up paying at Barnes and Noble. It was like 125. So I think I paid this a little over. I paid 65 bucks for it. So it was seemingly a little bit cheaper than Amazon had originally had it. So I went ahead and picked it up. But the next up here, we have Uncut Gems, a very beautiful case. I wish they had done Citizen Kane like this. They would give it kind of this type of case, just more of a basic case with slip cover and inner case, but it's got really beautiful artwork. It's got that kind of reflective, reflective paint on there. So this is a really good movie. Actually, believe it or not, this was my first viewing of this movie. It didn't pique my interest at first, and then I was like, you know, I some people really like Adam Sandler, and I like his comedies. And I'm always a big fan of P.T. Anderson. I always liked Punch Drunk Love, and I think what he did in Punch Drunk Love was interesting. But I think Adam Sandler, there's something about his serious acting, like his dramatic acting, that's a little stiff. I feel like when he plays comedies, he's looser and more natural, and I think you can kind of see his dramatic acting. You see his more nervousness to playing those type parts because he did a great job in this movie. Don't doubt him about it. I mean, yeah, I mean, what happens to him at the end, you kind of want it to happen to him because he's kind of in a way, a scumbag and just a. But I mean, there's some things I could say, but I'm not going to say. But it's a good movie altogether. I love the score. The movie's wonderful. The sound score and the sound design and everything's just great. So I highly recommend you checking that out. I did pick up another set here. This was kind of almost like a blind buy set. I was familiar with the directors and actors in this a little bit. This is David Lean, directs Noel Coward. The only movie I have seen out of this, and I actually own this on a different Blu-ray set, and this is In Which We Serve. A really great World War II movie. I guess it was kind of presented in as almost a propaganda piece in a way, but a very excellent movie. If you have not seen it, I'm interested in watching the rest of this, but it's basically I think Noel Coward. Yeah, Noel Coward was a director and an actor. He directs and stars in Which We Serve. So, and from what I understand, Noel Coward was wanting to be a director, and I think he had some minor productions beforehand before this movie, and he kind of got brought in and as to be a secondary director essentially because Noel Coward was starring in it. But for the most part, any documentaries I've seen on this, it basically says that David Lean ended up kind of taking over the production just because of the workload on Noel Coward, and Noel Coward felt that he was actually a better director than he was, so he ended up taking over the directing spot. But the rest, everything else in this set is Brief Encounter. Blith Spirit, or Blythe Spirit, however you want to pronounce it. This Happy Breed. So I'm interested in exploring this. Um, 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 um. I'm looking forward to exploring these movies. So it looks very fun. Some of these might bore people. I think it's boring, but I love old movies. It's just the writing and directing is so far superior to what we have these days that it's fun. Except for there's a few exceptions. Tarantino, Wes Anderson, P.T. Anderson. They're out there. But this is another movie I picked up. This is Chimes at Midnight, an Orson Welles movie. A lot of people consider this probably one of his best movies. A lot of people think this is better than Citizen Kane, actually. We'll find out. I've actually not seen this movie, so I'll be checking this out very shortly. Also picked up Merrily We Go to Hell. And I have not seen this movie yet. From what I understand, it's directed by Dorothy Asner, and the back says that she was like the only active female director in the 30s. So, and this is pre-Code era, so this is like going to definitely tackle some certain subject matter and things like that. Probably women's liberation type of subject matter and things like that. So it'll be probably interesting. Interesting watch for sure. I also picked up the 4K release of Menace to Society. Looking forward to checking out the transfer on this. Haven't popped it open yet. We'll be doing that here soon. Try to catch up over the weekend and this week on some of my movie pickups. You see, like whenever you pick up so much stuff like that, it's hard to I try to watch at least one movie a day, and sometimes multiple movies, and I know a lot of people who do that and maybe watch 3 movies a day, but I feel like when you get into that pattern, you burn yourself out, and you'll do that for a couple days in a row, and then you'll turn around and not watch anything for a week. So I think it's better to kind of pace yourself, even watching movies, even as good as they are, and they all start running together. But the last of this these Criterion pickups, this is the pickup on South Street. I can't remember what Samuel Fuller movie, so I think this is just another noir that I decided to pick up. This may have been one. For some reason, I believe this one was one that it came up on Amazon. Like on Amazon, your Amazon list, like it comes up on stuff that it suggests to you or it's recommendations, and it came up down there, and I just clicked on it and read about it, and it sounded interesting, and yeah, it sounded like a pretty good movie. I think it's kind of a noir movie, so we'll find out if it is or not. But the last stuff I have here, that is the last of the Criterion there. But I had a few more pickups this week, and I'll show a couple to you. And the first pickup here was actually I picked up the Hacksaw Ridge Steelbook 4K. I had this in 4K already, and when I put all my discs came from booklets. I had them in booklets, and then I transferred them all back to their cases. At least all the Blu-rays. I've still got DVDs, a lot of DVDs in cases, but when I transferred them back, it was just couple movies went missing, and Hacksaw Ridge was one of them. I never could figure out why it went missing or where it went. I don't know if I let somebody borrow it at some time and never got it back, but it didn't make sense. I usually never let anybody borrow 4Ks. I always usually let people borrow Blu-rays because most people at the time didn't have 4K players and things like that. But this is a nice looking steelbook, and I look forward to watching the movie again. In steelbook, excuse me. I look forward to watching the movie again. The next one is Fat Man. This is a Mel Gibson movie. I just never had picked up and watched before. We'll be exploring this a little bit sometime. And this was one of my live stream co-hosts. He's the one suggested this. We may have some people that made this movie, some of the production people that made this movie coming on the show in the near future. So look forward to that. But that would be by Raging Entertainment. He gave me that suggestion. So I remember this movie coming out and was planning on buying it and then never did and kind of forgot about it. But last but not least this week, we'll get into this. This is I Dream of Jeannie, the complete series, Blu-ray. This is a movie that I pre-ordered a long time ago and then it got delayed. It's kind of like one of those other sets I had got a while back. And it had like a July or August release. And the Randolph Scott set, I apologize, but the Randolph Scott set was the same way. But I Dream of Jeannie and Randolph Scott was, they got delayed for like a long time. So I'm glad this finally come in. But this is the season 1 and 2 box. You know, your first season, maybe first couple seasons are in black and white. It sounds great and looks great, but I've only watched the first season. There's the second, or third, fourth, and fifth season box. And what I like they've done about this is the reason I wanted this in Blu-ray. I actually have it in. I actually have this in DVD, and but it's Mill Creek released both of these, but this is the Mill Creek set, and this is one of the cheap, the cheap sets that had the. And a lot of times I don't necessarily hate this design. I know it's a cheaper design, but I'd have to actually count discs. But the Blu-ray set has a lot of discs with it, so that's really good. That's really good for compression rates as far as episodes go. The first disc will be missing in here because it's actually in my Blu-ray player right now. I've been watching it, but let's see here. It looks like we got 3 discs for season 1 and 3 discs for season 2, which is it's pretty nice. There's a lot of episodes. Don't get me wrong. It looks like there's about 10 episodes per disc. So, but those are 10. You got to understand those are 10 30-minute episode or per disc. So it's not like the Big Bang Theory. That's the biggest complaint. I bought that Big Bang Theory, the big set that they put out, the special edition. Not a massive fan of the show, but I was post-surgery last year, so I wanted something to watch. And I always liked like the first few seasons of that show, but I went back and bought that, but those discs were like, there's like 10 episodes per disc, and I just didn't think it's very good quality, but this stuff looks pretty good, so, and it sounds good. A lot of times the sound is like the biggest importance, with, one of the biggest improvements with a lot of Blu-rays and 4K discs, so, yeah, but that's what I picked up this week, and, I guess, I feel like I'm not completing everything and showing you guys everything. Had a floater there, but it looks like we got 1, 2 for season 3, 1, 2 discs, 1, 2 for season 4, and 1, 2 for season 5. And there we go. So not too bad. The season count went down after the first couple of seasons. It was probably just the era. It probably like towards the end of the 60s, I think they started reducing. A lot of shows started getting reduction in episodes. So, you still, because a lot of shows, pre then, they were like, a lot of them are 30 episodes a season. So it's quite a task watching some of these old shows, especially trying to watch like Gunsmoke and things like that. But I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And, feel free to leave your comments anytime you want. I like comments. I try to respond to everything, almost everyone. Obviously, like most people, I'm not going to respond to probably anything extremely negative. But if it's, something that, something that's interesting, I'll respond to it. And I try to respond to my subscribers. And anybody who leaves a comment. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. And if you like what you've seen today, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Follow the page. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Kentucky Fried Reviews 420, and make sure to follow me on Rumble and on YouTube. I will talk to you guys later.